All right, so let's start lying down and then we'll get things going from there. So however you want to lie down, if you want to bend your knees or, up or out, it may kind of sort of get you moving in a direction. If you're comfortable bringing the soles of your feet together and letting your knees just kind of fall out wide. If you have blocks, you can put blocks under your thighs to take some of the stretchiness out of that position. And then just do that from lying down. Right, so if you come into this, you're like, oh my gosh, that feels like too much, and you don't have blocks or blankets or something to prop your legs up, then just skip that part. But if it feels okay, and let me just add, since I'm saying so, if at any point, like if you start out doing this and it feels fine, and then at some point you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, you can just bring your knees up. It's totally, anytime, just come on out. Or, stay there for the whole couple of minutes that we're going to make here. All right, so that's it. Pick your leg position. And really just try and let your legs relax. So that's the idea. I don't want you to have to hold or strain at this point. We'll do some holding and all that stuff soon enough. So try and just relax, soften, right? We did all the things, and now we're here. We're lying on our mats. Right, I feel like I kind of made this as much as, potentially anyway you guys do, as the people coming to take the class. Let's come into the breath. We'll take 3 deep breaths here together. So inhale through your nose. And just take the biggest breath you can, whatever that is right now, it doesn't matter. Just biggest breath and hold. And exhale. Let the breath pour out of your mouth. Inhale through your nose. And fill up the belly. Expand your ribs all the way up. Right, all the way up to hold, to relax. And then sigh, exhale. Right, just allow your body to soften. Right, release the day. All the stuff that did or didn't happen and whatever else. Just let it go, it's done. And let's do that one more time. Inhale. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Holding, relax the shoulders. Try and inhale a little bit more. Hold on to that. And then let it go, exhale. Just let it go, release. And then start to breathe in and out through your nose. And so here's our Ujjayi breath. So the lips are soft, the jaw's relaxed, right? Just lips lightly closed. And the breath in through the nose, brushing the back of the throat, making that soft sound. And same as you exhale, pushing the breath past the back of the throat, out through the nose. Into a nice steady rhythm, and if we can, we'll just keep breathing Ujjayi breath the whole time. And maybe here and there we sigh the breath out, maybe some heat, soften, using the breath, right? Sure. But then coming back to this steady breath. And it kind of trains us, right, to steady the mind, right? So we use this breath, right, and we steady the mind, the body steadies. Right, use the breath. And then the breath becomes this really nice tool that we can use throughout the practice, that we can use outside of the practice, right? We can kind of train ourselves steadiness with this breath. So anytime, right, anytime you need to just calm, into the nose, out through the nose, just come into your breath. If you can, even seriously, you could do a downward facing dog. Out if you can. that's something possible for you to do. It's a great way to just release any kind of tension, or if the mind starts to spin, you breathe, you come into the body. If you're freaking out, do down dog. You can try it. You'll see. All right, so nice and easy. Let's bring the knees together if your knees are out wide. You can use your hands. Just gently bring the knees together. Oh my goodness. So take a moment. All right. And circling the wrists and the ankles, just kind of feeling out your joints. Take a stretch. Oh, extending the legs out long, reaching the arms overhead. That feels good. Water. I feel the top was on that. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Just nice, kind of massagey across the low back. We'll take our twist, knees over to the left. Peel open. Right, how's your chest, your shoulder? How's the hip? How's your low back? Soften the shoulder towards the floor, your right shoulder. And come to the middle, inhaling to center, exhaling over to the other side. Stretch here, relaxing your shoulder down towards the mat. Just let it stretch. Let the twist stretch you like this. All right, back to center, heels up. So breath or two here. Stretch the backs of your legs and bring the legs out wide and just see how your inner thighs are doing. We're gonna wake them up a little bit today. All right, before we do, let's bring the knees in. We'll bring the hands behind the head. So we can start with the feet on the floor. They're gonna come off the floor soon enough. And we're just gonna kind of move side to side, a little crisscross action, elbow to knee, and do that for, several seconds. Okay, so take an inhale, exhale. As you lift the head and shoulders, let's touch left elbow, right knee, and then we switch. And we'll just keep going like that, side to side. Right, at any pace, you can go faster or slower. Right, make sure you're breathing. But we're not really doing this counting the number, but more just for a length of time, approximately 45 seconds. So feel free to speed it up if you like, or really slow it down. But in any case, press the low back down into the mat. And make sure you're not holding your breath. Keep your face soft. We're going to do this for a little bit longer. Right, and really try and touch your elbow to your knee. Hopefully you start to feel your abs right at some point. All right, let's count now. We'll do 10 more. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take a break. Just notice your abs. Maybe you feel a little bit the side of your body, your obliques. All right. Let's come up. We'll do some cat-cow. So roll forward and back, roll to your side, however you want to get up, but up and over. Hands and knees. All right, stack your wrists under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. And let's inhale. Stretch the belly and exhale. Rounding the spine, stretching the back of the body. Couple more like that. Inhaling wide across the chest. Exhaling. Let's do one more. Rounding the spine. Inhaling to come forward. Finding a tabletop position, really we're just making our way into down dog, but get a nice lift in the belly. Walk your hands forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Come on in. Feel free to pedal the heels a time or two as you get into your down dog. If you want to shake out your head, right, see what feels good, what makes sense for you and your body right now. And let's settle in. Right, it's easy to just keep wiggling around. Let's see if we can find some steadiness. Right, notice what's happening in this pose as we're here. A few more breaths. Right, fire up the legs, press the thighs back. Then check in with your hands. Could you press more evenly across your hand? Are you pressing out into the fingertips? Take another inhale. See if you can reach up and back with the sit bones a little bit more. And as you exhale, let's shift forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. Bring the shoulders over the wrists. Right, soften your face. Of course, at any time, if you need to, you can bring the knees down onto the mat. Just squeeze the arms nice and straight. Take one more breath. Let's head back to down dog. Lift the hips up and back. All right. So down dog's a little bit easier than plank, right? So you gotta appreciate that. Enjoy the sweetness. On your next inhale, shift the gaze forward. Use the exhale to walk or float. Bring your feet to your hands. Lift the chest, come halfway up. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Firm the glutes, lift the chest. Inhale, come all the way up. Bringing the hands together and your hands to your heart. Thumbs to the sternum, dropping your gaze. Maybe close your eyes. Setting an intention for your practice. And you know, it can be as simple as why you decided to come onto your mat tonight. Right, that's a great touchstone for your practice, right? If you start to kind of beat yourself up or you know, whatever it is, just remind yourself why you're doing it, right? It's not to get mad at yourself, right? But you know, for whatever reason why, to move, to stretch, to breathe, to feel the effects, whatever it is. It'll all happen, and the practice will go just how it's supposed to. Take a big breath here, inhale. And sigh the breath out, exhale. Releasing the hands down. You can open your eyes or keep them closed. Turn the palms out. Let's reach out and up. Inhale. Exhale, go up and then over, hinging at the hips, folding in, empty the breath. Lift up halfway, lengthen forward, inhale, Ardha. Exhale, empty and fold back down. Inhale, firm the glutes, lift the heart, come all the way back up. Exhaling, hands through the midline. We'll just keep on going. Release the hands down, palms out, inhale. Exhale, folding in. Empty the breath. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen forward. Exhale, bend your knees, hands down, step back with the right foot. And you can take a breath and just feel into that stretch of the lunge. And then step the left foot back and find plank, which isn't particularly stretchy, but you can appreciate the work in the arms and your abs. Arms straight, right, straight, lean. Lean a little forward. Take one more breath in plank. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. Heart goes forward as you lower down, right? Kind of leaning in a little bit. Flatten your feet. Reach backwards, Shalabhasana. Curl the tailbone under. Come up, inhale. Stretch, exhale, come on down. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift up. Lift the legs. Press the pubic bone down. Exhale, lower. Interlace your fingers. Tailbone under. Inhale. Reach the knuckles back. Lift the legs up. Soft bend the elbows. Switch the interlace. Reach back again. And come on down. Take a breath here, soft, and release your hands. Waggle the hips. Plant your palms by your ribs. Tuck in the toes. Take an inhale. Use your exhale to press the floor away, coming to plank pose or knees plank. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right. Stretch back. Smooth out the Ujjayi breath. One more inhale. Exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, walk forward, float forward, feet to hands, halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. Rise, inhale, form the glutes, lead with the heart, come all the way up, hands through the midline, and then keep going. Hands down, palms out, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, hands down, step the left foot back. Right, feel that stretch, it's nice. Step the right foot back. Come back into your plank pose, hover here. Right, belly in, belly button to the spine. Right, lengthen your tailbone to your heels. So you feel the low belly active. Right, this is the place that gets kind of sacrificed usually, the lower back. Right, so we want to make sure, especially there, the abs are engaged. Take one more breath. Lengthen forward as you inhale. We're going to lower for a count of 5, 4, 3. Keep the elbows in. 2. Hover. 1. Come all the way down. Whew, flatten your feet. Tailbone under. Inhale, lift up, cobra pose. Exhale. Forward and down. Again, inhale, lift the chest. Shoulders back and down, heart up. And then lengthen forward as you lower. Get a little bit longer each time. One more. Tailbone under, lift up. Stretch. Hug the elbows in. Whole hand presses right back to down dog. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Take it back. Okay, let's bring the feet a little closer together and send your right leg up and back into the air. Turn the toes out, lift the hip, bend your knee, stretch. Sink the left heel towards the floor. Right, and just breathe into that big stretch in the legs. One more breath. And then come on out. Just bring your right foot to the mat, downward facing dog, and do the same thing on the other side. Send the left leg up into the air. Turning the toes out, lifting the hip, bending the knee. Right, nice big stretch. Let that feel good. Take one more breath here. And then releasing the foot to the mat, we're going to take it forward. Press back, inhale. Exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, walk or float, feet to hands, halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale, all the way up. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands through the midline. So Surya Namaskar A, inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, up and over. Folding in half, empty the breath. Inhale, lift up, halfway, Ardha. Bend the knees, hands are down. You can keep stepping back or float the feet back. And maybe this time we hover chaturanga. Flatten the feet, lift up, upward facing dog, heart to the sky. Exhale, right back. Downward facing dog. Smooth out the breath. I have to put my hair up. But you breathe. You can always sigh the breath out a time or two in down dog. We're going to take one more breath here. Press back, inhale. Exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, walk forward, float forward, bring the feet to the hands, halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale, all the way up. Hands through the midline, one more time. Straight A. Hands down, palms out, inhale up. Exhale, fold. We should salute the sun, right? Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, hands are down. Again, floating back, you can walk it back. Maybe modify your lowering down. Right, knees, chest, chin. You can do cobra pose. Right, or you're doing chaturanga, upward facing dog, right, from free. All right, bring the toes, the big toes, I should say, a little closer together. Reach the right leg straight back and up. Outer right hip down. Right, lengthen the outer left hip back. Lift the right leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, right knee, right arm. Outer upper arm. Nice and high up the arm. Lean in. Inhale, reach the leg up and back. Do that again. Forward. Right knee, right arm. Outer upper arm, lean. Inhale, reach the leg up and back. One more time. Forward. Right knee to the arm. Hold it here. Lower your knee to your wrist. Pull your knee back up your arm. Hover and lean. Reach the leg up and back. Inhale. Exhale your foot to the floor. Send the left leg up. Straight back and up. Right outer right hip back. Lift the belly. Lift the leg. Inhale. Exhale, left knee, left arm. Lean forward, look forward. Inhale, reach the leg up and back. Again, come forward. As high up the arm as you can, lean. Inhale, reach the leg up and back. And then do that one more time. Come all the way forward. And then hover there. Try and lower your knee to touch your wrist. Right, and then pull it back up higher. And hold and lean and look forward. Inhale. Exhale. Reach the leg up and back. And then foot to the floor. Press back. Take a big breath. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the heels. Bend the knees. Walk forward. Float forward. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Inhale. Fold. Exhale. Rise. Inhale. Come all the way up. Woo! Exhale your hands to your heart. Just take a big breath here. Inhale. And sigh it out. Exhale. Relax your shoulders. Release the hands down. Just gotta straighten out my mat. There we go. Okay. Tadasana, top of the mat. Breathe in through your nose. Out through your nose. Take an inhale. Bend your knees. Utkatasana. Reach for the earth and then reach up. Inhale. Right, firm the glutes. Shoulder blades melting down. Right, keep the ribs in. But after all of that, the heart lifts. Lifts to the sky. The gaze lifts to the sky. The fingertips reaching. As if, right, send that sit bones back and down. Take one more breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. All the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, hands are down. Again, stepping back, floating back through your vinyasa or even straight to downward facing dog. All right, that's it. Back to down dog. Awesome. Send the right leg up and back into the air. Inhale. Exhale, round the spine, pull your knee in towards your nose and step your foot between your hands. Let's come up crescent pose, bend the back knee and come up. So we want a bit of a scissoring action between the feet, so pulling the feet in towards each other. Hopefully what you feel is your inner thighs kind of waking up a little bit. Lengthen the tailbone down and lift the heart up. And see if you can get the back leg maybe a little bit straighter. And take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, bring the left hand down to the floor. Reach the right arm straight up into the sky. Come into the twist. So your left wrist is under your left shoulder. Rotate open. Press the inseam of your right foot into the floor. One more breath. Now you can either step right back or maybe take Vinyasa back. So the right foot steps halfway back or all the way to side plank. Reach up, maybe look up. Take one more inhale. You can flip the top foot if you like. Exhale the left hand down. Find your plank and through your vinyasa or straight to down dog. See how you feel. Move with your breath. All right, nice. So let's in the left leg. Inhale it up into the air. Exhale. Step the foot between the hands. And lightly. Bend the back knee. Come up. Crescent pose. Tailbone down. Right, it's really easy to tip the pose forward and arch the lower back. So we're actively trying to not do that. Lift the hip bones up. Oh, make some space in the lower back. Right, it's nice, especially if you sit a lot. Lengthen the left hip back. And then pull your feet towards each other. Hold them towards each other. Hold them towards each other and lift your heart up. Melt the shoulder blades down. Take another breath here, looking up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, right hand down. Left arm reaches into the twist. Whole inseam of the left foot. Right, keep the big toe mound, keep the inner heel rooting down. As you rotate the right ribs towards the left inner thigh. Press your back leg straight. One more breath. Reach up. Lift up out of the bottom shoulder. And then maybe half of Vinyasa. Maybe step the front foot all the way back. Reach up. Maybe look up. Maybe float that top foot. Take one more breath. To plank or three-legged plank, right? To take the vinyasa or, right, skip it. I haven't done this, but child's pose is always an option. And as you get to down dog, maybe you sigh the breath out. Give your head a little shake. And just appreciate the heat in the body, right? What those poses do for your hips, your legs, your shoulders, your back. All right. Downward facing dog. Stretch back. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the heels. Bend the knees. Walking, floating, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Inhale. Fold. Exhale. Bend for Utkatasana, chair pose. Bend and reach. Reach back through the sit bones. Lift up through the fingertips. Try and pull the hip bones off the thighs. Take another breath. Look up, maybe press the upper arms back as you soften the rib tips in those front bottom tips of the ribs. Inhale. Fold, exhale. Take a breath. Separate your feet so they're hip distance apart. And we're gonna hook the big toes with the first two fingers. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen forward, firm the glutes. Exhale, fold. Pull yourself down and in. If you need to bend your knees to grab your toes, you'll bend your knees. Lean forward into your toes. Let your head be heavy. And at the same time, lift the shoulder blades. Lift the kneecaps, right? There is a sense of lifting up away from the floor, even as the crown of the head is reaching for the floor. One more breath. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, hands are down. Release your toes. Release your toes. Don't forget about that part. Maybe shake out your fingers a little bit. Okay, sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Plant your hands, and now back to either plank to down dog or through the vinyasa. You can jump to chaturanga, right? Bending the elbows as you go. Do cobra pose. You can do upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. Right, sweaty. Good. Send the left leg, right leg, up and back into the air. Take an inhale. Exhale. Use your abs. Right. Go slowly. Rounding the spine. Step your foot between your hands. Back into the floor for warrior 2. So we're heel to heel. Hug the right hip under, windmill up. Bend into the front knee until you start to feel some stretch. So as you're bending, send the right knee to the pinky toe side of your foot so that the knee kind of hides the pinky toe and shows you the inseam of your front foot, right? You can see your big toe inside the knee. So hopefully your glutes are engaged. Breathe into the stretch. Reach through the fingertips, right? Actively straighten your arms. Like you're really trying to straighten them. It's important. Breathe. Feel that a fantastic stretch in the legs. Maybe bend a little deeper. Could you reach back with the left arm as much as you're reaching forward with the right arm? And take one more breath here. Straighten the front leg. Come into Triconasana. Reach forward. Get long. Let the bottom hand land where it does. Reach the top arm to the sky. Hug the ribs in. Right, it's easy to kind of spill forward and then the butt kind of sticks out back behind you. Hug it all in. Right, like you're trying to get super squeezed and flat. All right, turn the gaze down. Press into your back foot. Stand yourself up on an inhale. Good, bring your hands to your hips. Parallel the feet. Break them a little bit wide, so I'm gonna bring my feet in a bit. But what we want really is wrist wide as we bring our arms out to the sides. So toes pointing straight, parallel your feet. Right, let's bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, fold. Hands to the floor, shoulder distance apart, and then pull your hands back so that your wrists can come under your elbows if you can bend your elbows. Crown of the head to the floor, maybe. Here too, just like in Padangusthasana when we were holding our toes, lift the kneecaps up, lift the shoulder blades up, and lean into your toes. And of course, breathe. Take one more breath here. Inhale to halfway lift. Firm up the legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Come the rest of the way up. Okay, good. Let's heel toe the feet a little closer together. So just for fun, bring your hands to your heart. You want your feet wide, but not as wide as they were. So still a little wide, because we're gonna come down into a wide-footed squat. So we're gonna turn the toes out if they're not already. Right, hands at your heart, bend your knees. So try and get down nice and low. Now the fun part is, we're doing this partly to wake up our inner thighs and also for our hips. But we're gonna add a little coming up, cross the feet, open them back up, squat back down. So we have to do that a few times. So it's gonna look like this. You're gonna come up, cross, and come back down. And then we're gonna come up and cross the other way and come back down, right? So that's the plan. Here we go. Up and crisscross down. Yes, and cross and back down. Yes. So alternate your feet as you switch. You know, we'll come down and switch. Let's do a couple more. Oh my gosh. Your inner thighs. Hopefully. And then one more time. Last one. Down. And then press yourself up. Release your hands down. Shake out your legs. Oh, okay. Feet go back out wide. We're going to turn towards the back of the mat. So turn the left foot straight to the back of the mat. Pick your right heel up and drop it back. Warrior two. And in. Stretchy. Breathe. Relax. The shoulders down. Reach the arms nice and straight. Try and be right squeezed to the midline. Watch the front knee. We want the stretch, especially after all that jumping. We want the stretch to the inner thighs. Good. Both arms reaching. I know it's a little long, but just breathe into that heat. It's good for us. Oh. All right, one more breath. Let's straighten the front leg. Triconasana, reach. So again, trying to stay compressed. The butt wants to stick out, the low back wants to arch. Can we squeeze all that in? Oh, stretchy. Hand comes down. Maybe we look up. Try. See your top thumb and just try and get it right over your mouth. And then usually we can lean back just a bit. Right? Lean the torso back. Maybe make some space on the left side. Lengthen through the left armpit forward. Breathe here, almost there. Strongest legs, right? Try and keep the kneecaps lifting. Press into the back foot, look down, and bring yourself back up. Woo. Hands to your hips. Parallel feet. My foot didn't want to turn. I'm going to just back up a little bit. So we're going to come down again. This time let's stretch our shoulders. It's a lot more about your legs here. Hands behind. Interlace the fingers. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold. Still trying to get the crown of the head to the floor. Let the hands come up and over. Soft, bend your elbows and switch the interlace. Put the other thumb on top. And then one more time, up and over. All right. Gently the hands release. Let them come down to the floor. Relax your shoulders for a second. All right, lift your chest and plant your hands on the floor. Your mat, you may have to back up a little bit if you want to keep your hands on your mat. I don't want you to feel too jammed up. You need a little bit of space. And then maybe you move your feet, but hands on the floor, shoulder distance. Right, that slight external rotation, so the index finger points straight ahead. We tend to plant and the hands kind of turn in. So let's have it so that the fingers would never, the index fingers would never meet if we just followed their line straight ahead, right? Okay, lean into your hands. If you need to bend your knees or whatever to get your hands to the floor, please feel free to do that. Lean into your hands, lift your heels up. Right, lean into your hands, lift your heels up. Lean into your fingertips. Imagine you're gonna pick your feet up off the floor. Lean in. Right, lean in. Maybe you do pick your feet up off the floor. Lean in, lift. Yeah, try one more time. Arms stay super straight. Scoop the belly, lean, lift. All right, relax your shoulders. Relax your shoulders, take a break. You can bend your knees, easy forward fold. Oh, I'm kind of sweaty. Okay. All right. Spin around towards the top of your mat. So now we're back with the right leg in front. Bend your front knee, straighten the back leg. And let's just for a moment bring the right arm, well, not really for a moment, but bring the right arm inside the right leg. I want to make it seem like we're just going to be here for a breath and then that's it. Sink into the stretch a little bit, or a lot. Maybe you can lower down. Right, we like to kind of get into the hips a bit. So that's certainly what we're doing right now. Press the inseam of your right foot down. Press the big toe side, press the inner heel so the knee stays in. Notice it probably wants to fall open out to the side. So we're gonna fire up the legs a little bit more. Lift up a bit. Bring my back foot in a little. Snuggle behind the right leg and put your right hand on your right ankle. Maybe scoot your foot in a little bit. That might help. And then heart goes forward. See if you can start to balance. Maybe your left hand also comes to your right ankle. Right, lean forward, look forward. Straighten the back leg. Press the inseam of the front foot down. Take one more breath. All right, hands come down. See if you can plant your hands, the right hand inside, and just scoop your right foot back, but keep your knee on your arm, like we did earlier. And then step back. And take a vinyasa, or go straight to down dog, or rest in child's pose. It's kind of hot in here, so, all right, breathe. It's good. Sweating is good for you. All right. You got to do the lunge on the other side. So you're going to send your left leg up into the air. Take an inhale. Exhale, pulling the knee forward. Let's step between the hands. Squeeze, step. And then we'll just bring the left hand inside and move the left foot over a small amount. Because we want it to stay, we want the knee especially, to stay kind of close. All right, so left hip back. And then we start to sink into the stretch. Let the hips come down. Keep the back leg straight as best as you can. Of course, if you need to rest, put your back knee down on the floor. Maybe you come down onto your forearms or your forearms on a block. Pin the left hip back, right? And then press the right thigh straight to the sky. Can you breathe? Right? We're just doing yoga. We're just doing yoga. Right? Breathe. Keep the inseam of the front foot rooted. Really press down. My daughter got me hooked on this show called Alone, where people like survive by themselves in the crazy wilderness. And so I feel like, oh, we're just doing yoga. Like, this is fine. There's really no stakes here. All right, slowly lift. All right, your legs. I know they're probably a little shaky, but this is good for them. Bring the left arm inside and behind. We're almost there. Hold on to the ankle with your left hand. Heart goes forward, straighten the back leg. Maybe you can balance. Oh, press the back leg to the sky and send your heart forward. And just breathe. Oh, your Ujjayi breath, that's all there is. Press the inseam of the front foot down, last breath. Okay, hands to the floor. Right, see if you can just scoop your left foot back, keep your knee on your arm, and then step back and vinyasa, or down dog, or. Oh my goodness. All right, awesome. Okay, we're getting to the piece de resistance. So downward facing dog. The hips reaching up and back. Okay. Big stretch. Inhale. Exhale, feet to hands. Step, float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana. I know your Your legs, they're really meant to work for long stretches. We used to be hunter-gatherers, you know? We walked all over the place. Okay, heels up. Heels up, chest up. Ah, fingertips up. And then let's just stand all the way up with the heels lifted, just for fun. So here too, we're trying to keep the big toes, which mine don't want to, but we're trying to keep the big toes pressing down. Right, then keeping the heels lifted, let's lower down, hands to the heart, hips to the heels. Okay, arm balance, numero uno, hands. I'm gonna just back up a little bit so I'm on my mat. Hand shoulder distance. First, crow pose. Bakasana, which is really crane technically. Keep the big toes together, lift your knees, put them on the outer upper arm. So then the bottom part of your knee is on the back of your arm, on your tricep. Your thighs are super scooped in to your ribs, right? Lean forward, scoop your butt up. Scoop your butt up, pull your heels up. Keep trying to hug the elbows in. If you want, you can jump back, but we're gonna be at the top of the mat, so I just need us back up here. But, right, so a couple tries. Right, crane is technically Bakasana. Your arms are straight, right? So that's kind of what we're aiming for anyway. Okay, take a quick wrist stretch. Actually, let's lift the butts. Let's lift our butts. Bring our feet shoulder distance apart. Sorry. Hip distance apart. Your feet hip distance apart. And let's do Padahastasana. We'll slide the hands under. And literally your entire hand. So bend your knees if you need to. But get your toes to the crease of your wrist. So your whole hand is under your foot. All right, fold. As your head hangs down, pull up out of your wrists, right? So your toes are pushing your wrists into the floor, or trying to anyway. And your arms are pulling up out of the wrist. And hopefully, as you hug your elbows in, you get a little stretch in the forearm. Head's heavy, even so. Even so. One more breath. Padahastasana. Foot to hand. All right. Gently lean back. Release the hands. Oh. All right, give them a little shake. Okay, let's stand up. So halfway lift, inhale. And then squeeze your glutes and lift the rest of the way. Oh, reach up. Oh, big stretch. Okay, hands to the heart. I'm going to stand sideways just so you can see what I'm doing, but you don't necessarily need to turn sideways, but you can if you want to. Okay. So let's try Firefly Titabasana. Yeah, let's head into that since we're kind of getting close to like cooling down time. Stand a little wide, like we were doing earlier for our like sumo squats, about that same distance. We want a slight bend in the knees and a forward fold. So this is the nice part. The whole thing is nice, it's just different kinds of nice, right? Different kinds of nice. So heavy head, heavy torso, right? Your shoulders can be super relaxed right now. And what we're trying to do is just sort of lean a little side to side and start to kind of tuck ourselves in between the legs, right? So if you can, put your hand on your calf, push on it, and try and tuck your shoulder behind your knee. Now, you'll get as far to that as you can, whatever that means in your body right now, but tuck in and move your foot more to the center, like underneath you, right? Okay, now you're gonna try and keep that side and do the other side. So this is where it gets a little fun. You're tucking, okay. And you want to walk the feet in, right? Get them as close together as possible. Push yourself through your legs. Great, okay. Squeeze. Try and straighten your legs for a second. Lift your butt. Okay. Keep that squeeze. Plant your hands on the floor, behind your feet, shoulder distance apart. Start to lift your chest. Look forward. Let your butt come down so you start to feel just your legs on the back of your arms, and then try and pick your feet up. Your hips come down. You can look forward. Triconasana. Oh, I'm sweaty. Firefly, right? So a big part of that is the legs squeezing in, right? The more we can fire up the inner thighs and squeeze ourselves, the easier it'll be to keep our hips up. So it's a big inner thigh exercise, along with, of course, your abs or shoulders. You're doing an arm balance after all. So feel free to try that one more time if you're up for it. Sometimes the second time is a little bit easier. Not mean easier, easier, but you just kind of have a better sense of it. So maybe one more if you're not too tired. Tuck in. Walk your feet in. Whew. Get them nice and close. It helps. Right, try and straighten your legs for a second. So you're really feeling the squeeze. Plant your hands. All right, push into the floor. As you lift your chest, keep your knees squeezing. And then you just pick your feet up. I don't know what else to say. Triconasana. Maybe Triconasana. But sort of, but not the prettiest Triconasana I've ever done. All right. Let's just sit here for a second and feel all that. Nice sweat. Backs in the hands. We can do the low-key version this time. Right, so yeah, we're gonna counter pose with a couple of bridge poses. Right, so just feel the feels of that, right? It's pretty, you know, let's just take a moment here. So if you recall a little earlier, we had our hands on the floor and we were kind of pushing and lifting up and like we're gonna press up into a handstand, right? Triconasana really gives us a lot of that scooping action in the belly. So if you're like, I can't do anything else with my arms, they're very tired, go ahead and lie down in preparation for bridge pose. But if you're thinking like, okay, sure, why not? Let's try one more thing. It's really the same thing. We're just gonna do it again because we've done a similar thing, and let's just see how that helps. Maybe your arms are tired and it doesn't help, but maybe it does. Okay, so your feet a little wide. Honestly, not too wide. Not too wide. Hands, shoulder distance. I just need a little more space than that. I don't like to be too close, so I like to give myself about a foot from my toes to my wrists. All right, lean. Lean into your fingertips. Oh, your feet. Oh, all right, maybe. Oops. Maybe your feet come off the floor. Right, wide but not too wide. If they're too wide, you can't get your hips high enough. Right, so not too wide. Lean, scoop. Right, just try and pick them up. Just, even if it feels like a little bit of a jump. You know? And if you're like, you're crazy, my feet won't come off the floor, do it anyway or try to. Because that's how I was in the beginning too. Where I would just feel like, I don't know. My feet feet are like 1,000-pound weights on the ground. But if that's how you feel, it's fine, because that could definitely change. It changed for me. And if you're kind of feeling it, then just, you know, you're feeling it and you can kind of lean into that a little. All right, maybe that's enough. Just kind of, you know, lock that in, just store that. Okay, let's counter pose. Let's take it down a notch, kind of, and do a couple back bends. So onto your backs. Right, so as you lie down, take a moment to just kind of get your feet in the right spot. Just take this. Okay. Get your feet in the right spot, scoop the tailbone. Even though we're doing a back bend, the back bend is really for the rib part of your spine, your neck maybe. Less for the lower back, right? Because the low back already extends. So that's its kind of natural curve that it already wants to lean into. So we're going to try and get the rib part of the spine to curve into the back bend, because that's the part that doesn't, right? It goes the other way. So let's try and get it to move into extension, right? So lengthening the lower back to try and get into the upper back a little bit more. All right, so feet about hip distance, you know, approximately. You want to be able to touch your heels. I kind of give myself a generous touch because my arms are kind of long compared to my torso, so I need to pull my heels in a little bit so I have like a big touch. So you probably know your proportions, so just do what you need to do. And then let's peel the hips up, keeping in mind low back, as if you're pressing your low back to the floor the whole time. We'll lift the hips, but the low back keeps moving towards the floor, right? Try to keep it long. Interlace your fingers underneath you and start to just tuck that outer upper arm. Right, lengthen through the tailbone. The low belly drops back. Keep the inseam of the feet pressing down. Right, that same action that we've been doing, we're going to keep doing it here. Stretch, breathe, press into the feet, move your chest towards your chin more. One more breath, hips up. And then bring it down slowly. You can come down on top of your arms. If you like, you can lay flat or keep your knees bent. If you like, let's do bridge again. If you're feeling bendy and your arms aren't too tired, which I don't know, but just in case, feel free to do Untitled. Right, it's definitely a bigger stretch, a different stretch in your shoulders. So see how you feel, kind of check in. If you're not sure and you can do Untitled, you can always just give it a try, you'll know. You'll know if you made a good decision or not. Low back to the earth. Obviously that's temporary, but we're gonna try and keep this tilt of the pelvis and lift up. It's not gonna stay, your pelvis won't stay in that tilt. But if we just kind of work in that direction, we can encourage the movement in the upper back and try and just keep a more or less neutral lower back. The same applies in our Vinyasa. Oh, so stretchy. Press the inseams of the feet down. Breathe into the stretch. And then when you need to come down, come on down. Take a couple breaths. And then maybe one more. And you know, like always, if you're just like, I can't do it, you don't have to. You can just relax. If you have a block, you can slide that underneath. If you have the juice for one last back bend, let's come on up. Right, make it about the upper back. Sternum to the chin. Right, press the big toes, the inner heels. And then bring it all the way down. Hips to the floor. Take a moment, and then we're gonna hug the knees in. Just pull them in, give them a squeeze. Maybe rock. Side to side. I've taught so many yoga classes in the park. It's kind of funny being inside. I've taught like 3 or 4 classes in a row in the park. And so it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe in the building. All right, let's sit. Come on up. Oof. Okay, legs out front. Dandasana, Paschimottanasana. We're going to do Upavishta and stretch our inner thighs. We still have a few minutes to stretch. Okay, so legs out front. Come on up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, out over the legs. Grab onto your feet, your ankles, you know, whatever you can reach. Lift halfway back up. Lift the heart, spread the collarbones, and then try and fold back down. Oh my goodness. Right, so this is to lengthen the back of the body. That's what the name of the pose means. Intense stretch of the west side of the body. Back of the body. Right, breathing. Still our steady Ujjayi breath. All right, let's lift up halfway. Ooh, and then the rest of the way. All right, so we did the standing up version. We did a bit of work with our inner thighs. So now we're going to give them a nice stretch. And actually for today, we're going to take a more yin approach to our Upavishta. What's it called in yin? It's totally escaping me. I hope maybe I'll remember it while we're doing it. It doesn't matter that much, but it does have a different name because the vibe is different. You're going to relax, right? So just let your legs do whatever. If they want to plop in or back, or it doesn't matter. They can just go whichever way they want. Try and relax. We're very conditioned because I always want to do it too. So we're going to try and relax and then just come forward. And if you want to round the spine or, you know, anything, keep it easy. Prop your head. Maybe if you have a block, you can, you know, use your hands. But just try and stay soft. Just let the inner thighs stretch. Try and relax pretty much everything. We don't have as much time as you would normally spend in a yin stretch, but in yin, you really relax. There's really no effort. You just let it all go and relax. Well, let's do that for just a few more breaths, or at least as best as you can. Just allowing the stretch to happen. Slowly, slowly. Oh, come on up. All right, we're gonna hook the knees. We're gonna lie on our backs and do just a couple more things from lying down. Easy stretching things. Okay, onto your backs. Roll back. Okay, so if your body is up for doing Gomukhasana legs in the stretch, crossing maybe the right thigh over the left, it's not that significant which leg you put on top, to be honest. And then you grab knees, not knees, you're crossing your knees, you're grabbing your ankles or your heels or your feet. Or I like to grab the fronts of my ankles, but you know, do what feels good in your body. I've been instructed all these different ways, like any of those things. So I don't think it matters all that much. I think we're just trying to stretch our hips. And as long as your knees are happy, you know, grab your ankles, your shins, your feet. Just soften into the stretch. Do your best to relax. Oh, I need to relax my legs a bit there. I know your arms have to work a little bit, but try and soften everything. And then if your body's okay with it, let's keep the cross and take the twist. So take the legs over to the left. And if the cross feels like too much, the cross of your legs, just uncross. But let your legs melt down to the floor. Let your right shoulder melt down to the floor on the opposite side. The head turns to the right any amount. You decide. There is potentially anyway a stretch for your neck here. And so allowing the Shavasana kind of softness and ease to start to creep in. Maybe the eyes are closed. Feel free to keep them closed. Let's just bring the legs back to center. Maybe easier on your low back to uncross first and come back to center. And then cross the left leg on top, or whichever one you did already have on top. Reach down, grab on, pull the legs in. So again, grab your ankles, your heels, your feet, the lower shins even, what works. Just be nice to your knees and look for a stretch in your hips. The outer hip, outer glute-ish area. Even though your arms are doing a little bit of work, can you relax your shoulders? Look for tension in your mouth, or your eyes, or your jaw, or forehead. Last couple breaths here. Really just relaxing as much as you can. All right, and then gently releasing your grip on your feet or your legs and just dropping your legs into the twist. Legs to the right, left arm reaching. So again, if the crossed legs is just like, whoa, that's a lot of pulling on your back or your shoulder or whatever, uncross. You're 100% not obligated to keep the cross, even if you did it on the first. Turn the head to the left any amount, right? Look for the stretch. Shoulders heavy. Right, legs heavy. And again, coming back to center, maybe uncrossing the legs to come back to center. If you want to do a happy baby or anything like that before you head into Shavasana, feel free to happy baby yourself. Right, or any sort of stretchy things, right? It's totally up to you. And then when you're ready, let's extend the legs. Oh my goodness. Right, arms out wide. If you want, you can come back into the Supta Triconasana with the soles of your feet together. But I would recommend doing that with some props under your thighs. I feel like your inner thighs have probably done enough. So if you're going to do that, maybe do that with a pillow or something one under each of your legs. Melt the shoulders down. And just let yourself be heavy and soft. The whole body relaxed. Make any adjustments that you need to. And then we'll just settle in. Allowing the body to rest. And if the mind wants to kind of get busy and think about something, problem solve, make a list, review. You know, you don't have to listen to that stuff, right? It's just chatter. It's like the TV. Just you can tune out the thoughts. Allow your body to rest, your mind to soften. Rest on your breath. And let's take a couple of minutes in Shavasana. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into the room, into your body. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Maybe stretch. One last hugging the knees into the chest. Feel free to rock gently side to side. Or come to your right side. And pause here, just relaxing, Shavasana kind of energy, right? Letting that feeling just sink in, linger. That's the end of the day. All right, let's sit. Come on up. And as you come to sit, close your eyes. Just pause here. Just take a moment to notice how you feel. Appreciate the effects of your practice. Right, every time, right, you show up, you do your practice, and then afterwards, you get to feel like this. Like we show up for the practice, and the practice shows up for us, right, every time. Your hands to your heart, thumbs to the sternum. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, bowing in. Grateful as always. Grateful, grateful. This practice, right? It found us, we found it. Right, grateful for that. Grateful that we have the time, the ability, right, the opportunity to practice. And anything else? What else? What are you grateful for? And allowing that idea of gratitude to become a feeling of gratitude, right? Let your heart just fill. Right? It's Such an easy way to add some sweetness. All right. Thank you so much for sharing practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, a great week. Namaste. Namaste. All right. Thank you. It's kind of perfectly timed that the big lights turned off, so I got kind of mood lighting at the end here.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was fun.
All right, good.
Yeah, I got my feet off just like a little bit.
Did you?
But it was just like,
super early.
yeah, it's just so stretchy in my inner thighs.
There's a couple of things that need to come together for that to happen, and flexibility is a little bit part of that.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's fun. It's so cool.
Yeah, but that was fun. And then my wrists, they got too tired at the end.
I know. Yeah, you definitely have to build up a tolerance for all that stuff for sure.
Yeah,
okay.
But it was still a lot of fun. And
okay,
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right, bye.
Bye.